By now, I guess this is growing up. Can we really call this love? If this is love, then I don't want it. But I'll bite my tongue. The flames of bridges you've been burning keeps me warm on the walk home. So I'm letting go. All these afterburns, they don't hurt no more, no.
Welcome to Pacific Tiger Broadcasting. My name is Chris, and this is The Ambush. We are here with a special music artist. Her name is Issadora, and we would like to know more about, your music. And, one thing I found out was you've been making music for about, 10 years or something?
Yeah. I started in the acting industry. I was 6 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a casting director went up to me and just asked me to audition for something.
Oh, and how did it start? Or did you just from the beginning, I guess to the end, from acting, and then did you start to just try and work with musicians, or did it start from making friends, or?
Well, so acting, that obviously gave me more connections, and I met a lot of people through it, and I moved to New York around the time I was 9 for acting, and I was in a show when I was 12 where I met this the lyricist of the musical I was in at the time for New York Musical Festival.
What?
And he kind of, during one of the lunch breaks, he was just you should consider songwriting or something.
Oh, so and then did you also have interviews back then too,
Yeah, growing up I did one of the main shows I did was How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh.
I was Cindy Lou. It was in LA, and that got me a lot of it was the first time I was dealing with a lot of interviews and stuff.
So I'm with a superstar type?
No, no.
Is that what? This is the ambush, We're going up the ambush. We're going up there. You know what I mean? But well, I did not know, and so I just that's really interesting on how you started your career in music. Usually you'd hear, oh, my dad bought this banjo from, a garage, sale or whatever.
That's partly what happened. Yeah. My first guitar I got when I was probably, 8, and I saw it at, a flea market, and my mom was like, I'll buy it for you if you learn it.
Oh, what?
And so she, also got me, an electric keyboard, and, I picked up, all these instruments, and everything I know now, I self-taught, and I just taught by ear. So
wow.
Everything I'm releasing a new EP very soon, and I kind of just taught myself everything, and it's been a really long process. But I don't know, in this industry, I know it's all about making connections and everything, but I also
wait. What do you mean, what industry, or in just the music industry
music
in general?
Industry,
okay.
Yeah, it's all about being able to work with others and stuff, and as much as I want to do that, I also want to make sure I'm capable of doing everything independently and not having to depend on everyone, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's definitely a very
sure,
ambitious and tougher route, though.
I have to what do you call it? Be able to whatever people need me for, other than just songwriting or being a top liner. I want to be able to help people produce their music too, everything. So.
Oh, that's interesting, because I'm not sure if you watched the past episodes on The Ambush, but we interviewed this woman named Ames, and she is doing what you're trying to aspire, So, I guess what I'm trying to say is
yeah,
we can do it, So, yeah. And I guess, what was your first song like? Producing it with a really, I know you also make music videos, so.
Yeah. Producing my first song, I was a sophomore in high school, and
wow.
it was literally just on GarageBand. Like, I had no real mic. It was like a $20 mic I bought on like Amazon, and I just learned how to like edit and manipulate it to
Did
where
you just
it sounded.
like sing?
Yeah.
Or, oh.
And I released it on iTunes. I took it down because I actually wanted to remaster it and make it a part of this EP that's coming up.
Oh.
But
that's coming up.
Yeah.
What's the EP called?
You Don't Live Here Anymore.
Damn. Like, can you imagine, like, hey, I got this EP, and it says, you don't live here anymore, you know? Like, how about if that was, like, a family member? You know, like, you give it as a, like, gift, and it's like, oh, here you go. Like, it's like, is this serious? You know?
Yeah, it was, I started writing the songs at a point in my life where, personally I was struggling with some things, and, like, in the process of, I guess, like, a coming of age kind of deal, and, like, really learning myself outside of boundaries I wasn't used to, and so, like, being exposed to that and starting to, like, grow as an individual, it kind of, that's where, like, the name derived from. Like, the person I once was, like, I don't want to be that person again. So it's like, you don't live here anymore, like, if that makes sense.
Oh, I see. It does make sense. I understand your concept. Dang, that, you know, like, hit that corazon, you know? I mean, no, I mean, I think that's a fair and genuine, like, concept to see it as. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that also helped you, like, create this, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe you should kind of be nice to that old person,
Yeah.
you know? But, well, I mean, ambushes, you know, like, they're, usually, like, the interviews are not so long, but in terms of, I guess right now we could just talk about, your music, or I don't know what records you work with, you know, or do you work with a record, or I guess that's what I'm trying to find
Like a
out.
record label?
Yeah, record label, or working with certain bands or group musician in town.
Well, before college, I lived in Florida. And,
so you've just been around the whole, like, country, or is that?
Yeah, I was born in California, and then I moved to New York for acting.
And then acting, and then...
And then Florida.
You took music serious to Florida?
Not for music. It was, just that my sister was, about to go to college, and that's where she was going to school, and like, my mom wanted to be nearby. So it was just kind of like a transition.
Yeah, understandable.
But, I've actually never worked with anyone, with, like, record labels, I guess.
Have you worked with artists as well?
Other artists, yeah. I'm actually, I don't know if you know, Graham McLaren. He is, someone in my major, and we're actually collaborating on a song for, one of the songs on my EP, so.
Oh, dang. And is there other artists that you're working with?
Yeah, he actually brought me here to this interview, Axel.
Axel.
Yeah, he helps me, like, learn a lot and, like, produce, like, some of my music, which is pretty cool.
What's his full name? Axel who?
Axel Tanner.
Axel Tanner, and what do you do?
I know he writes songs, and he's really good with, like, music production.
Oh, Axel Tanner. Well, that's it for the Ambush interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for, taking time out and doing this interview. And also more, any information that you want to, like, spread out to your fans.
Instagram is Issadora Ava.
Isadora
and my YouTube is not Issadora. You can basically just find me with my name, Issadora Ava.
Oh, just like that. Okay.
Yeah.